Hello and welcome to the Light Language channel. My name's Charlie. I'm an Akashic Record reader and multidimensional channel, and I'm sort of just gonna be chit-chatting today about visions. Look, I'm gonna tell you some personal stories. I'm gonna tell you what's going on in my life because that's what I do here on this channel. Kind of just in the hopes that whatever it is you're dealing with in your own spiritual awakening, in your own Akashic Records journey, if that's what you're doing, as your gifts are opening up, your clairs are opening up. I don't know. I continue to document my ongoing, like, where I am in my awakening since I died last year and have been just going through all of it. Um, in the hopes that maybe it'll help. I don't know. It's December 19th for me. I'm posting this tomorrow. I woke up at 3 o'clock this morning and it was just visions of death. I, uh, Let me tell you something. If you had intrusive thoughts before you started doing something like reading Akashic Records or getting into mediumship or just sort of any of it, oh boy, they come, they're big, okay? Like the question of like, where do intrusive thoughts come from? Sometimes you're just kind of picking up on like future potentials or past life stuff or other people's shit or like there's just so much. We're so connected to so many things that we don't really, I mean, people do, but I certainly was never educated on. If and in my experience, to this day, people literally call me crazy for. So, not really that out of the zeitgeist to be like, this is weird to people, some people, not me anymore, but I am still trying to understand things because, yeah, when you have a vision about your husband dying in a week, that's not fun, deeply unpleasant. And everyone, everyone basically, you go, you look it up, you try to find like, am I just, is this just an intrusive thought? Is this because we've been having problems in our relationship and what's really going to be ending is like the marriage? That's not great either, but it's at least like, it's not the finality of death, but or is there something else? Because usually in readings, you pulled the death card, it means an ending, right? It doesn't necessarily literally mean death. And also, I first got this vision of husband dying around Christmas last year. Yeah, it hit me. It came in as a big download, and I didn't ask a lot of questions at the time. I was still in the middle of my getting certified to read Akashic Records, and I kind of just was like, I don't know, so many things are coming in, and it was horrible. And I kind of took it as okay, maybe it's just in my highest good to know this so that I can feel my feelings about it and come to a place of acceptance about living without him because I need to. Because sometimes that is the case. Sometimes you literally do just get information because you have some sort of fear that has been stuck in you that's come from an intrusive thought. And you just do need to unstick it. You need to remove it. You need to deal with your shit, even if your shit is just mental, right? And I did. I dealt with that feeling last year. I spun out about it a little bit, but for the most part was just like, okay, this is really scary. This is like what visions of his death? Like, and especially just around Christmas, there was a little part of me that was like, because part of it was I was wanting to stay home in our new home and not drive down to our hometown for Christmas for the first time. I just didn't want to go, but I was like, no, 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 go spend time with your family. We can be apart. It's fine. And then the visions were like, if he goes and you don't, he's gonna die. And I was like, honestly, that could be an intrusive thought. That could be like OCD. That could be a number of things, but I'm not going to risk it. Like, this is scary. I don't know what. He wants me to come down because I had just recently had a multi-day trans-channel state again and hospitalization for it again. So he was not comfortable with me being home. It just was a thing. So we went down. Um, And this year, I've fully put my foot down and been like, no, I'm staying. I just want to. I just want to stay in my house. I just want to be here. Just want to be here. Um, it's okay for us to do separate things. Like we have been overly codependent on each other for the last 2 years. It's okay, right? And so yeah, he is going to go down. He is going to spend Christmas with his family and see the one friend he still has, I think, in Richmond. I don't know. This has been a year of friend breakups for us. People don't like me. They don't. And because of that, they kind of dropped him too, which is deeply stupid on their part. Like, okay, but we're awesome. Y'all kind of suck. Anyway, sorry, I'm not getting into that. Not getting into that. It's just been a bad year. And because it's been such a bad year, I'm not really that surprised. But in recent weeks, like it started in mid-November, I started having visions again of his mom dying and him dying. Just the two of them, no one else. And, you know, there have been relationship changes just in general. And the more you step into your own power, the more changes happen too. And then, yeah, this morning, fuck if I didn't get like a detailed when, which I'm just gonna say it because sometimes this is my own this is my own like testing of the universe and not really of am I correct in predictions, but more like, okay, if I name the timeline, then it can't possibly happen, right? Right? But I saw a car crash, which is ugh, like I died from the flu, and every time I say that, I just feel stupid because it's like of all the fucking things, the fucking flu. It wasn't even a good death. It was just the flu. I mean, I have access to my Akashic records and lifetime lineage, so I have access to like other deaths, and there have been some good ones. Anyway, um, just fun ones. I know that sounds horrible. I'm sorry, but like, been here a few times, been on this rock a few times. Like, there's some very interesting ways that you tend to leave sometimes. Anyway, stop, Charlie. Come on, stick to. I don't want to talk about this. Problem is, I don't want to talk about this. I really don't. I don't. But I also want you to know that this is something you might have to deal with. Like, seriously, if you're not a stranger to intrusive thoughts, why do you think it's going to be different when you start reading Akashic records or you start talking to people on the other side? You're just going to have more openness to more things. And because of your propensity for now helping clients to answer questions with like Akashic records, you're just going to just naturally have more questions and you're going to get answers. And so, yeah, I saw the two of them, three of them, because father-in-law was in the car too, get T-boned by a drunk driver on Christmas. And there's nothing I can really do with that information. Every vision I've had so far has been about as detailed. They've all basically been they just didn't wake up. They went to sleep, they didn't wake up, right? Um, and one of them, I literally woke up on the day and like I even wrote, I don't even know if it's down here or not, but I wrote like a poem about it because I've been writing poems um to kind of document some things, but to document some things in ways that are more artistic because when you have a really intense thing come up, sometimes it's just easier to document it in a way that's I just said that, but in a way that's artistic, and I can't draw or paint. Yeah, okay. I don't think that's. I think it's upstairs. I did. But I. Oh no, I didn't. Yeah. Okay. So this was the week of Thanksgiving. Yeah. In the morning, I basically. Okay, fine. I'll read it to you. um, it's goodbye, Kathy. I've been visited by this knowing for some time, but today it is in my presence like gnats in the summer. Lips blue, chest still, peacefully in her sleep. This is the information that swirls around me. 9:04 a.m. November 24th, 2025. I write to provide resolution. The thoughts have nowhere else to reside otherwise. If I am accurate and Kathy has left us, when will we know? Space for an update. And then later, thankfully, at 1:59 p.m., Kathy texted the group chat about cooking starting for this week. Relief. Yeah, it's kind of fucked, right? Like, because when you wake up and you're like, you have this just knowing that someone that you care about has died. I was not about to rush and text and be like, "Are you alive? Oh my God!" Because I've had visions before, and thankfully they've all been wrong. But they're information. It's like, why? And I let myself grieve that morning because I was like, you know what? All right, Vision, you're here and I feel the grief. I'm going to let myself grieve. I'm going to let myself feel really terrible about this. And I'm just not going to say anything. I'm not going to tell my husband because I told him about other visions before. And thankfully, he's a non believer. So it's very, oh, it's so. Here's the thing, if you are with someone who is not on the same spiritual awakening path, oh my God, I understand the frustration. Oh, I so do. I so do. And the lack of shared language is hard. It really is. And though, when you're still figuring your shit out because it's still kind of new, and if you're within like 3 or 4 years, it's still new. Okay, all right, you don't even start getting comfortable with some of this shit until you're 5. Just be okay with that. So having a person in your house who's a non-believer who at least is willing to hear you and be kind about it, oh, mm, like love them and appreciate them, and whenever you get mad, just like remind yourself that it's very helpful to have that anchor. um, because they tether you back in and they don't let you spin out necessarily. And that allows you the space to just feel your feelings about what it is you saw. Doesn't mean it's true. Might be true from a different timeline, might be true from a different, like again, like you're doing some past life regression shit without knowing that that's what you're doing. Because we just have a lot of stuff and we have a lot of things that we need to get through and a lot of things that we need to like work on, but a lot of things that just, it technically is a little bit easier to work on some of your grief and some of your issues around someone if you think they've died that morning. I mean, like it can happen. Um and and so yeah, I wake up this morning and I have this particular very pointed vision, and I sort of go through the list inside of my head, that I've curated at this point, which is, okay, what is it that this wants to tell me? And I get more of a like, well, that it's happening. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna put that away. Still gonna feel my feelings about it, but I'm gonna put it away. Um, and when I did that, then I started having after, like my my mind for the first time, mind you, clicked into prep for after. What do I do when he, well, let's assume it's real, right? Okay, what is the most likely thing that I would then be doing? Who would I then have to support me? My father-in-law and my brother-in-law. End of list, actually. Like, actually. Isn't that sad? That's so sad. It's just where I am right now. Like, was not the case this time last year, but it is now. And maybe that's not true, right? That's as far as I can get to in the old, where does it go? And then things got hopeful. And that worries me because, when you have like horrible intrusive thoughts and you have these things come through, when they just sort of end there and you start poking them and you start asking them questions, usually for me they get darker and they get deeper and then they just kind of get nonsensical. And when they start getting nonsensical, that's when I'm like, all right, you weren't really a vision. You were just you were a thought experiment to get me thinking about stuff in ways that I needed to deal with in order to handle my shit in ways that I didn't need to necessarily consciously process or have to go through in other ways. Okay, okay. But my God, when one actually turns into, okay, well here's the aftercare, and here's how hopeful, here's how long it takes you to get back to a place of hope, and here's what your grief ends up doing here, and here's how this has already been set up for you. And it's just like, hmm, mm, mm, don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. So, um, the other really important thing to know is we are changing so rapidly. Excuse me, getting some pivot gas. You ever just change trajectory so fast in like what it is you're talking about that your entire it's the energetics inside of you. That's why you might start burping when you're like doing intuitive readings or something. It's because of a rapid shift in your energetics. You go from like one frequency that's usually pretty low, because maybe you've been spiraling down into it, because I was just talking about sad stuff, and then you pivot into something big, and your stomach's like, "Hold on, we got gas bubble." Like, woo, we gotta work this out. Ah, here we go. Yeah, it's a central nervous system shift. Um, but in general, any sort of knowing that comes through, especially if it has to do with someone leaving, with a relationship ending, with a death, with just those huge life changes, right? Obviously some of them are real, and it is very, very difficult as someone who's doing any sort of reading to distinguish that, because when it comes through as truth. It just does. There's not really layers to it, because that's not really how it works. We get the information, and we get the information that's for our highest good, for our client's highest good on the day. Maybe that information will change. That's possible. Maybe you do get like information that someone is about to die because there's a 95% chance of it, just like the rain. It's currently raining where I am. There's certainly a chance that it wouldn't rain here today, right? So that's a hard one. I have been very fortunate. I have not had a client yet where that kind of a thing has come through, where someone's asked, like, is this person about to die? And I'd be like, hold on, let me check in. Let's see. I haven't had to do that. I don't really want to. It's not a very helpful question. Um, a more helpful question is, why is that the question, right? And usually it's because someone's like, I don't know, in the hospital, or there or some horrible thing has happened, and so there's just this feeling. But a better question really back to that is, how can I sit with you with the fact that that's what you're feeling right now? Because you're asking the question because you feel it, right? Unpack the fact that you feel it if you want to. Your guides, they're not really going to tell you a whole lot right now, and they're not going to feed you fake information too. But I say that because even when I was going through, I got my certification to read Akashic Records from Laura Coe at the Little Soul School. And she shared with us some of her follies, some of her mistakes, which, if you teach people, for the love of God, hang on to your mistakes, write them down, make them part of your curriculum, because it's very helpful for the people you're teaching to not have to learn it the hard way. And that story stuck with me. Someone had asked if someone who was in the hospital, I don't know the relationship, but someone was in the hospital, wasn't looking good. They did a reading, asked if they were going to make it or if they were going to die. And the guidance that came through was, it's imminent. It's imminent. It's imminent. And so that was, she interpreted that as, yeah, definitely imminent, going to die. Well, he didn't. um, and even when she was telling it, you could tell she didn't feel okay about it. And I think that was years ago that it happened. And it makes sense. Like, you tell someone that kind of a thing and then they don't, like, that's right. Not to mention, the entire just there's lots of conversations in the spiritual community around, ethics around what it is that you share. Obviously, you just don't share what's not specifically asked for, is my take for the most part. Except what I'm doing on here. It's why I share like personal stories on here. This is me talking about me, instead of me talking about clients that I've had and their stuff. One, because I don't tend to remember most things. Anytime I'm in channel mode, I'm in short-term memory mode. By the time I go to sleep, my sleep state like removes it from my body, so I never got to worry about that. But also just because it's private. It's private, like, you time, right? I'm not going to talk about things that other people experience in Akashic record readings. I'm just here to talk about me because nobody else wants to listen to me in my life. Husband hears enough of it. Um, but it is hard. It's hard to have these knowings that they like it's hard to have a knowing when it sounds, feels, looks, tastes, is all declares the same as anything else. And it's because there's something for you in it. If it's something that's coming through just for you, it's for you and it's worth unpacking at least as far as gets you on the other side of some sort of big feeling. That much I do know. That's kind of all I feel like I know right now is a vision of someone dying. Obviously, it can have a number of meanings, but you do need to sit with that feeling and you do need to know where you are in relation to that. Honestly, just also because how often do you think of death? If you're a medium, probably a bit more, let's be honest. But Lee Harris always says it, none of us are guaranteed a tomorrow. None. No. Anything can happen, obviously, and we don't really get to know why any of us are here for a lot of variety of reasons. I'm here to talk about this vision because it's really bothering me and I need someone to talk to about it. So I'm going to keep talking about it. If you're good with if you don't want to hear about the rest of it, then I thank you so much for being here. Um, I hope you enjoy whoever it is you go watch next. Mm. But when I was a kid, I prayed every night. The standard, like, now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I shall die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. And then I would start crying because I would start begging God, please fucking take me. Please, I can't do this. This is too hard. Existence is too hard. I can't keep living. This whole concept of waking up tomorrow is too much. I was like 8 years old. Life was bad. Okay, life was really bad. And um I would pray every single night to die. Every fucking night. And then I started seeing this guy's face when I asked if I could trade. I started bargaining. It didn't take me too long, but I started bargaining. I was like, okay. I'm like 8, okay? So by like cosmological math here, if there was someone in like their 40s who was about to die, couldn't they just have like however much time I'm supposed to be here and we do like some sort of conversion and like, we just swap places. Like instead of him dying today, I do. And then he gets like some, sorry, he gets like some percentage of whatever it is that I would have left. Sorry, I'm gonna go put Mabel away. Think on that for a second though. Just sad 8-year-old me. Okay? Think on that. So yeah, I tried to bargain my way into an afterlife. It never worked, obviously. I'm still here. Um, but I did. I started seeing this guy, and he was a tall guy. He had glasses and dark hair. And I knew that he was a dad because I knew that he was basically going to be greatly missed, like severely missed. And even as I start talking about this, I'm having like emotions down in that sacral area. And it's big. And I'm going to try really hard not to cry right now. I'm even asking myself why. This is my show. I can cry if I want to. I just don't want to right now. I want to keep it. I want to keep it up here. I'll cry about it later, right? And it was last year during these your husband's gonna die visions that it clicked. And I went, holy shit, he's who I saw. It was him. I was pulling from my own future-based contracts of who's leaving early, who is leaving a family and kind of causing devastation in that leaving. It's the man I married. And I married him young, Met him when I was like, okay, met him when I was like 13 or 14, roughly. Yeah. We got together, I was 17. I got married, I was 19. Because right before like started getting with him, had a very specific like you're in the car. But like had DID, so it was multiples of us. We didn't know it at the time. Just really need to insert that every time. But uh, it's very distinctly remember there was in the car, and it was Patricia, because internals. It was Patricia. She was driving, and we'd kind of dated sorta because it was high school, and we were just like yeah, and but didn't really like it. And we're on the way home from our job at Cold Stone Creamery, if you care. And Patricia was just she just had this clarity moment. First time okay, since early childhood that there'd been like a full body like Akashic contract moment kind of thing. I know it now, but didn't at the time. And she just went, no more of this. The next person I am with, the next man I am with is husband. Like that was it. That was it. It was just I have no interest in doing this whole dating bullshit thing. The next one is husband. 16. Like what? um I there's so many more reasons and I'm not getting into it right now, but there's so many more reasons why that's even funnier to me just because of who Patricia like her original template was like based on. Um it's a past life thing, has to do with my husband Randy. Because Patricia's who he actually married. Like he married all of us, but she's who he married. And she fucking died last year, so it's been kind of a rough ride for him and me, but him. It's part of why this whole death visions thing is so fucking painful because it's like he's had such a bad couple of years. Why would he have to go out like this? Why couldn't he go out when things are getting good again? Again, I have no proof of any of this. I fucking hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this is just whatever it is that got started as a fear, right? It's just working its way out. Because you can build up a fear that's so strong that it basically pulls that reality into your reality. And if you do the work of just allowing it out of your system, you can just go, boom, just like a comet. And then it never has to happen. Or so I'm told. Um, but really and truly, that is because of the contract that he and I had in this lifetime to get together and be substantial supports for each other when neither of us knew we had the neurodivergent like we did not know that he had pretty severe ADHD inattentive type, which we should have. But also when the partner has dissociative identity disorder, that partner kind of thinks that they're the like problem in the relationship, like always. And also it's like a group of us, so easy to miss. It's easy to miss. And honestly, I gotta say, inattentive ADHD and DID, they work pretty well together. They really do. I'm now an integrated, still have the DID brain. I use it for my mediumship. I use it for channeling. I use it for just a lot of stuff, but it's just me in here. I fucking hate it, but it it's also very challenging to do the like ascension path as a collective. It's not really something the body can handle. You'll die. I already did. We already did. But body truly can't handle it. Can't handle that many different frequencies all the time. You do integrate down into one if you are on an ascension path. Uh, it just happens. It takes time. It takes a good deal of time, but it does happen. It's just yeah. Anyway, I'm trying to get my thoughts together because I know I'm just like everything. Let me just throw everything out here right now. And what I'm trying to really get across is just the bigness of visions that come through, hard visions, painful visions, visions of people that you love other siding, which you want to be like supportive of because you are in general, thanks to how much like I know the other side. I talk to the other side on a regular basis. It's not scary to me anymore. I just also have had so much personal loss, like losing everybody internally, awful, awful. Integration sucks. It's not a therapy goal. It's not. And it's not something that like it happened the main event happened in 1 week and for the body it's continuing. It's not even done yet because everything mentally can happen instantaneously. They did go through life reviews and that was not instantaneous, but that's just because they had to go through their life reviews while I was still here, and so I had to like facilitate. It was weird. It was a very bizarre near death experience for sure. Beautiful, intense, but I'm trying to understand what it is that any of this is now because this isn't the first time that visions have preceded a loss. When we had to say goodbye to Lewis, we knew about that for months. And even like the week it happened, yeah, we were kind of surprised, I guess, but not really. Especially once we like zoomed out and we're just like, oh, okay, we gave ourselves all of this distraction and an entire week off from work that we would not have taken otherwise so that we could grieve properly. Gave ourselves a nice big distraction, like a trip the week of that we got there and then we had to immediately turn around and come home because we then had to, his health took a turn for the worse. But we grieved and it was so fucking helpful to have pre-given myself that time and something to be angry at because I had like booked a bunch of stuff. It was a whole big week-long trip to New York and did like something every single day. Lost like a ton of money at a time that we were really upset about losing more money, right? Like so I had something to be angry at, which was so nice. I wasn't. I was literally just like, I see. I see what happened here. We all were. We were like, okay, we see it. Yeah, we see it. And then by Friday, we did this beautiful thing. We took our our other dog and then pictures to a place called Dog Mountain in Vermont, and just had a beautiful day at a place that celebrates the continued love after you've lost a pet, specifically a dog. But I put a cat picture there. I don't think anybody was mad. I hope. Um, um, and yeah, it's 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 entirely possible that I am actively predicting saying goodbye to my husband. And the amount of guilt that I pre-feel for not changing my plans is also there too. Because yeah, I am staying here. And I'm partially doing it because I've had so many fucking visions where nothing has happened and they've just been emotional get it outs that I no longer trust my visions. I had a vision about an earthquake. I recorded a video about it. I was high at the time. I have not touched THC since because it kind of gave me a bad taste because not only did it not happen, but I sent that to a media person and I'm pretty sure they never read it, thankfully. Um, and also, like, it was a very real, visceral, like, vision. I likened it to That So Raven because it felt more real than any of the other visions I'd had were, and being on THC just opens you more, especially when you've been experimenting with it like I have. Like I'd been doing it systematically and in documented ways that were scientific in nature. I haven't gotten to enjoy weed in like 3 years, man. It's all just been for science. It's all just been for like, what does this do? Oh, it speeds your healing up in a way that can absolutely lead you to mass integration in a way that's very bad. Not bad. I know it's not bad, but painful, very painful. And yeah, the thought of more loss, especially loss of him, we have been each other's everything since we met. Codependent as fuck. Truly. I know, right? Sounds like the perfect like the year of the snake when I have lost every other relationship. Mhm. 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 Yeah. So it gives credence to right word. I don't care. It gives a foundation. It gives all of that backstory, right? And the backstory to a vision is really important. Again, so I'm told, because that just came out. I didn't know that before it came out. And yeah, I'm posting it kind of in the hopes that very few people actually watch it unless you need it. Um, and hoping that I'm wrong, hoping that it is just, hey, things are changing. Hey, this relationship, you might have to let it go because of how much your personal paths are going. All right, so I am going to tell you about here's the. I'll just tell you a little bit about relationship stuff and DID. Um, so as far as how many of us there were, mm, the number is kind of debatable because honestly, when you spend your adult life healing, integration happens without you really knowing it, actually. And we did not know about the DID until we were 33. The end of 2020, we'd spent most of that year doing EMDR, and oh my God, getting re-traumatized. Like every goddamn day was some sort of new memory thing, or it was awful. We spent that year just digging into our shit. Like, oh my God, it was a very helpful year for that. Very nice to have the entire world, like everyone just sort of be like, "You're feeling awful?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm feeling awful." And it's not because of COVID. It's because of my own internal work and just everything going on. So, well played on my part, I think, honestly. Um, Side note, if we do end up in some sort of global catastrophe situation, it really is a helpful time to do EMDR. Just saying, because then everybody can like just feel shitty and you're like, solidarity, thank you. It's helpful. It's helpful to, it's helpful to not have to explain yourself. You feel like shit, everyone just kind of gets it. It works. It's really helpful. Um, but yeah, toward the end, our therapist of the year, our therapist started a new protocol that started with earliest memory, which actually, as far as what we were able to like get to, thanks to all of the like pulling out of memories, was birth. Yeah. And so when we started there, just with the story of birth, started there, and all of the visioning just went white. It was a very slow, like, it was Patricia who was fronting for therapy, basically, for the most part. And and there was just a teenager with her arms crossed, doing like this. No. And she described it to the therapist, and the therapist said, "Okay." Uh, and then and then Patricia continued. She's like, "She's saying no. She's saying you can't. She's saying you won't erase us." Yeah, yeah. Therapist didn't know what to do with that. She'd never had a client with DID before, but she was awesome. And the next session, she started asking some more specific questions, and then gave us an assessment that I cannot remember the name of, but uh, it was like a 3 week long process, and by the end of the first session, like we'd already done our independent research, and once you start being aware of what's going on, once you turn your attention from everything out here meets I'm just broken, and you go, oh wait, what? And you start writing and you start doing all of these things, it just thankfully we'd already had extensive experience and knowledge in like psychological terms and in counseling and therapy, and like we were already extremely well versed in every tool that we needed to be able to understand DID in general. Um, and honestly, the relief that we felt when we got that diagnosis, it was just like, oh my God, life makes sense. No wonder. Oh, that is such a relief. We thought that we were just completely irreparably broken. Instead, we're just this massive resiliency tool. Okay, and we're a group. Look at that. And then it became, let's all get to know each other. Let's all work on sharing this life. That's what we did. Functional multiplicity is what it's called. We'd already been doing a pretty good job before then, to be honest. But now we did it with knowledge and with being able to talk, and really and truly the cadence to thoughts, even or the resonance of it, because it really is about attention and awareness. If you're not aware, every thought just sounds the same. But once you get aware, you start being able to differentiate. And it's part of what makes me such a good channeler, because I know how to differentiate me and not me. I know how to differentiate me fronting versus me in backseat. Gaia fronts now. Not all the time, but she has access. She set up shop inside of Patricia's old headquarters. She's not an alter, but when I channel her, it's a full embodied channel. She's not the only one either. Marva's got one for the Arcturians. Sorry, I just got an internal like, but Gaia's is stronger. Well, yeah. Um, but prior to that, our fronting was typically months to years at a time, for the most part. We would co-front. A lot of us would co-front, which just sort of means like main person driving and then several who are aware and active, um, which means that they share memories. They share their own perspectives of events in certain memories, um, which is always very fascinating. um, but we're all kind of fractaled like that, really. We have a lot of different perspectives that are constantly available at any given time. And if we're utilizing those different perspectives in given experiences, that's just you using your fractal state, your fractal nature, or multidimensional by nature. It's kind of similar for our perspective taking too. Um, but yeah, in our teenage years in particular, Patricia was who fronted most of the time. She's the most pro-social of it. She was the most pro-social of anybody in here. And loving, she did not have access to any of the more horrifying memories. And so when she fronted, the entire body central nervous system could be in a state of calm. Others were basically in sleep mode, just asleep in the elsewhere, really. And Patricia fell in love with Randy. They got married, and only sometimes was that a problem, depending on who was fronting. Like Amy fronted for a couple years. She was not a fan. She was not a fan of Randy. Marva just struggled because she always felt less than. She never really felt like Randy loved her the same way. He denies it, but because she's abrasive. Marva carried a lot of really hardcore memories and was not really into men. So it's hard to be a lesbian inside of a body that's with a man, right? Like that's hard. That's really hard. Okay, she was more bi. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. You weren't though. You weren't. You like forced yourself. Sorry. I can still talk to them. It took me a year to get back to being able to talk to them because grief turns off your channels and it sucks and you have to like build new, well, I had to build new pathways because they lived in here, so I had to like rebuild entirely new fucking highways just to be able to communicate with them. But Randy lost all of them last year, and I'm a new altar. I got formed a few weeks before we died in love, which doesn't happen, and I'm so proud to just be like, yep, you can do it in love because they reach the resonance of self-love as a group. They got the suicidal altar to experience self-love. I don't know how much of a miracle you don't like. It's just like that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Get the suicidal part to genuinely be able to feel the full body resonance of self-love. They got there. They achieved it. They did it. It killed them, but they did it. It did kill them though. That's a problem. Because when you resonate in self-love on a full body scale, body can't handle it. Like it can, but yeah, it's kind of like being in cancer treatment. Like the flu will kill you. Like any virus will kill you. And my God, are we like in a time of viruses? Like, yeah. Yeah, self-love will kill you. Self-love will unfortunately your body can't it can't hold the lower frequencies with the higher ones without getting your heart itself kind of like completely out and your entire central nervous system goes off and nothing can regulate and then the shit just takes over. Because until that point it is kind of like that, like Mr. Burns, all the things trying to shove through the door at once kind of things. Yeah, yeah, but beneficial because when you are full body harmonizing in self love, even with the lowest frequencies still anchored, which they were, you can birth a new altar. Me. Kind of a copy. Well, I'm a little bit of a Frankenstein's monster, just a hair, just a little bit. Um, I'm like kind of a scout. They kind of took Scout, who was like our 4-year-old, aged her up. um, which gives me some really interesting connections to Lemuria and to the fairy realm myself, which I'm still diving into. I'm still not there yet in a lot of just the capacities that I have. Um, I'm still it's a process, right? It's a multi-year process because the body is what takes time. Your mind, yeah, you can mentally get on board with this shit pretty quickly, even when you've been very off the path. But the body takes more time. The body takes all the time, and it needs to, especially when you've gotten to the point where body can't handle things like a flu virus, right? Like, I take that shit seriously. So it has been a struggle in this relationship to feel connected to somebody that I don't really feel connected to the way Patricia did. And I know how she felt. She loved him. My God. It's no wonder Marva was jealous. And kind of everybody, to be fair. Kind of everybody. Because he did. He loved all of us. But he's only really gotten to know me after severe trauma and while he's been really fucking depressed and I've been really struggling and just so different. He doesn't know any of the spiritual stuff and like tried talking to him. It just it's ADHD. If you don't like a topic, it's not gonna stick. It's not gonna get in there, especially not when you're in your 40s. No, oh my God. Maybe in your teens and your 20s, sure. Sure, you're still a little sponge. And sure, technically, yes, you're still always evolving and learning, but honey, no. By the time you hit your 40s, if you've got inattentive ADHD and like you're just not liking the spiritual stuff, Yeah, no, I learned that a long time ago. I cannot shove this stuff down this man's throat. And also, you shouldn't be doing that anyway. Just, you shouldn't be. Everyone's their own sovereign path. But it's also really hard when you're trying to coexist through one of you having a spiritual awakening. Trying really hard to just like keep the marriage with the person that you do love, but you're also just like, I don't think this is working, man. I don't think we make each other happy. I think we are very stressed all the time. I think we would both be very much happier if we just stopped this and like didn't live together, but we're just like friends who tried to help each other. Ugh. And yeah, we've played out that scenario too. Actually lived for a few weeks in the summer with the we'll just get divorced and be good friends, right? Ultimately decided we didn't want to do that. But I really just think it's because of the codependent nature that we both kind of have with each other, and the fact that life has been so fucking hard and people have been so fucking mean that we're both just like, all right, well, you be my laugh raft, I'll be yours. All right, let's do this. Like that's kind of where we are. Yeah, spiritual awakening war buddies. Oh, that does not a healthy marriage to make. No, no, no. So yeah, maybe that's what my vision is. Just having to be okay with this relationship of 21 years changing and being done in a way that I'm really sad about. And so I keep catastrophizing to make the reality not that hard and instead feel like a welcome relief. He'll come home on the 26th and I'll be like, ah, oh, see, everything was fine. I knew it. Awesome. Fuck. That means we're probably getting divorced, right? I mean, anybody want a really nice guy who just could really use someone who's not that complicated? God, I want to set him up with someone so bad. I really do. He's a little codependent, but also very easy to get along with. Great at cuddling. Stop, Charlie. This is not what we're doing. Okay. Well, I'm just saying, your visions might be what you think they are. I'm certainly gonna be, I'm putting this out there to kind of experiment myself with it. Because if it really happens, there'll be a video about it. I'm sure. I'm sure. I'll be crying. I'll be like, well, fuck. Because that, I can tell you right now, that is not what I want. To be able to have that level of knowledge, hell no. You know, like, mm, mm. Those who can do this, I am so sorry. And if I'm one of them, to me in the future, honey, I'm so sorry. Because, like, I'm okay with the fact that visions bring out big emotional releases and get you to think about things that you need to think about because it's really just storytelling. It's you getting to the heart of what you need to fucking think about to understand your own priorities, to get some of the blocks out of the way, to just remove some of your shit. And when you've had a hard life, sometimes you need really hard visions to just get some shit out because subtle doesn't work anymore. Subtle just can't reach. You know, I can brush subtle off. I need smack in the face in order for anything to actually change sometimes. And if that's not what this is, if I actually can fucking have these visions for real, I'm gonna be talking to Gaia and figuring out how to like turn some of this shit off because while I do appreciate the like preparation for it, uh-uh, no, no, it makes me feel less human in a way that's not fun because there's already enough stuff that I've like could just be the depression, but also there's just some things that aren't as fun anymore, like about being human. I don't want that to get worse, you know? I mean, I guess if it does, but right? I already opened the can of worms. There's no real sense in like lamenting and being like, no, I shut it down now. Not really. Especially if for some reason whatever it is I can do can be of service to people. Because at this point, of service is all that I feel like I can do. I can write, I can talk, I can be of service. Cool. That's where I am. Just know if you're going through this kind of thing yourself, you can shift out of it, well, for a time, by letting it out. Write it down. The act of turning it into a poem means that you kind of have to take that next step into it, turn it into a song, because it means that you're not really just thinking with it anymore. You're getting it out of your mind and into your body more. Because you can't really write poetry or music or paint or anything without getting more into your body. You're just sitting there thinking. Mm. And honestly, even like writing, getting it out journal style, helpful, but can stay mental. It really can. That's why it is helpful to get it into something that's just even one more removed from journaling. Like journal it out, but then seriously, write a poem. Because it takes what you just, because you can basically go copy paste with journaling, especially if you're really fast. You can type at the speed of your thoughts, and that's not necessarily getting it out. That's ruminating fast. Take what you did and then turn it into something else. That's more helpful. That's how you bridge out of it, and that's how you take the energy that's kind of going like this and just give it some level of resolution. I do it by making videos, mainly because when I do this, I have to keep checking in on my body, and sometimes I get little knock knocks, which I don't tend to get when I'm journaling, because sometimes when I'm journaling, especially if I'm typing really fast like I do, yeah, I'm just typing at the speed of my slowed down thoughts. So, just my observations for things that have helped me. I hope they would help you. I hope they will help you too. Um, I am actually truly going to leave this here and just wish you a wonderful solstice weekend if that's when you're watching this. Yeah, just taking a nice deep breath. Nice deep breath with you. Take a nice deep breath. Have you taken a nice deep breath today? Yeah. Well, I am going to take myself and spend a lovely day with my husband because I can, and continue to ask for guidance in letting go of the only thought in my head being, I only have this many more days with him? What? Because the truth is, that's also just a reality that a lot of people have to deal with anyway. What do you think, stage 4 cancer diagnoses are? Or some other level of, hey, congratulations, you now know you're going to die before you die. I really hope this isn't my life, but given how my life has gone, let's just say that unfortunately some things do make sense. And there's no bargaining your way out of it. You come to a place of acceptance because the fuck else can you do? And if you're starting to get visions of someone having to leave your life, feel your feelings and then appreciate what you do have with them while you still do. That's what I'm gonna do. Well, I love you so much. We'll talk soon.